Good morning and welcome to Daily Devotions with Pastor Joe. Any of you who end up finding this after the live stream is over, I just decided to do a live stream because I didn't get the opportunity yesterday to record. Was up a little later this morning, and so I just took my time getting around today. But we're looking into the book of Ruth for this devotional. Ruth chapter 4, verses 1 through 22, where it says, as we knew that Ruth in the previous chapter had been going through and she went to the threshing floor, spoke to Boaz, got his approval to marry her, basically, and he said, I'll take care of the situation, I'll make sure you're taken care of. And Naomi had told her, don't worry about it, just relax, he's going to get it accomplished. And so here, chapter 4, verse 1 says, Then went Boaz up to the gate, and sat him down there. And behold, the kinsman of whom Boaz spake came by, unto whom he said, Ho, such a one, turn aside, sit down here. And he turned aside and sat down. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city, and said, Sit ye down here. And they sat down. And he said unto the kinsman, Naomi, that is come again out of the country of Moab, selleth a parcel of land which was our brother Elimelech's. And I thought to advertise thee, saying, Buy it before the inhabitants and before the elders of my people. If thou wilt redeem it. But if thou wilt not redeem it, then tell me, that I may know. For there is none to redeem it beside thee, and I am after thee. And he said, I will redeem it. So in other words, the close kinsman said, Oh yes, I'm absolutely excited. I would love to redeem it. I'd love to be able to do this. This would be fantastic. And then verse 5, Then said Boaz, What day thou buyest the field of the hand of Naomi, thou must buy it also of Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I mar mine own inheritance. Redeem thou my right to thyself, for if I cannot redeem it. Verse 7, Now this was the manner in former time in Israel concerning redeeming and concerning changing. For to confirm all things a man plucked off his shoe and gave it to his neighbor, and this was a testimony in Israel. Therefore the kinsman said unto Boaz, Buy it for thee. So he drew off his shoe, and Boaz said unto the elders and unto all the people, Ye are witnesses this day that I have bought all that was Elimelech's, and all that was Chilion's and Mahlon's of the hand of Naomi. Moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, verse 10, And the wife of Mahlon have I purchased to be my wife, and to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance, that the name of the dead be not cut off from among his brethren, and from the gate of his place. Ye are witnesses this day. Let me do this. This is the Ruth, part 5. Okay. And verse 11. And all the people that were in the gate, and the elders said, We are witness. And the Lord make the woman that is come into thine house, like Rachel and like Leah, which two did build the house of Israel, and do thou worthily in Ephratah, and be famous in Bethlehem, and let thy house be like the house of Pharez, whom Tamar bare unto Judah, of the seed which the Lord shall give thee of this young woman. So they gave a blessing. Ruth and Boaz marry, it says. Verse 13, So Boaz took Ruth, and she was his wife. And when he went in unto her, the Lord gave her conception, and she bare a son. And the women said unto Naomi, Blessed be the Lord, which hath not left thee this day without a kinsman, that his name may be famous in Israel. And he shall be unto thee a restorer of thy life, and a nourisher of thine old age. For thy daughter-in-law, which loveth thee, which is better to thee than 7 sons, hath borne him. And Naomi took the child, and laid it in her bosom, and became nurse unto it. And the women, her neighbors, gave it a name, saying, There is a son born to Naomi. And they called his name Obed. He is the father of Jesse, the father of David. and the genealogy of David at the end here. Verses 18 through 22 says, Now these are the generations of Pharez. Pharez begat Hezron, and Hezron begat Ram, and Ram begat Amminadab, and Amminadab begat Nahshon, and Nahshon begat Salmon, and Salmon begat Boaz, and Boaz begat Obed, and Obed begat Jesse, and Jesse begat David. And so this is one of the more incredible stories, one of the more touching stories and heartwarming stories. We know that there's a major emphasis on the love and the care of Boaz in this story and the dedication of Ruth. So it's a very adequate and powerful image and description of a marriage ceremony and of what a courting situation ought to be in a life. And so here we have Boaz has promised Ruth that the situation will be taken care of, and he knows it's going to be, whether it's by him or by the other kinsman. He offers to the second kinsman, he says, Come here, I knew you were passing by this gate, come here and let us talk about some business. And he said, hey, there's this land that Naomi has to get rid of because her husband's dead, she has no sons, it has to go. He says, oh, I'll take it. And then he says, well, hold on a second. You know, if you take it, you've got to take Ruth and raise up a child for the namesake of the family. There is a female heir to the throne in this case. And he says, oh, I can't take it. I can't take her and take this land because if I did, it would mar my image. It would make people look at me and say that there's something wrong because, oh, he's married an outsider, a Moabite. And during that time especially, the Israelites were not permitted to marry outsiders. Yes, they sometimes did it, but we know especially through the judges that different ones got some serious flack for marrying outsiders. We know for Moses, whenever he was leading the children of Israel, that the children of Israel, including his own brother Aaron and sister Miriam, got upset with him because he had married an Egyptian. We know that there have been several throughout history. And so the Israelites were not permitted to marry an outsider. And so for him to then raise up a child by a Moabite would make his entire family line have sort of a stain to his eyes. So he said, no, I'm not going to do it. I can't redeem it for myself, lest I mar my own inheritance. I mess something up. And really the reason that the whole inheritance thing went is since Naomi had nobody to give the land that was owned by her family to, he would be, the kinsman would be required to raise up a son, and when he came of age, that chunk of land that was in the use of the kinsman would become the child's after that. So what Obed was going to get later on in life was that same inheritance that this man was going to redeem. He was going to say, oh yeah, I'll take the land. And if there were no heirs, it would become his and for all of his people, all of his children. But since there was an heir in the line, or would be an heir in the line since there had to be, he didn't want to redeem it, knowing that he would only have it for a short time. It wouldn't go to his kids, and then it might make a mess of things down the road as well. So he said, no, I won't do it. Then they traded shoes. The kinsman handed his shoe to Boaz. Strangest custom in the world, but I guess it made sense that he gave his shoe as a testimony. He plucked off his shoe, verse 7, gave it to his neighbor, and this was a testimony in Israel. So he did this. He gave it to him. Boaz said, all right, you're all witnesses. This guy gave up his opportunity. I'm marrying this girl. He marries her, raises up a son, and Naomi is blessed. She no longer calls herself Mara or bitter, but is absolutely blessed by God and grateful for what he's done for her. Ends up raising up and nursing the child herself, which is an interesting story in and of itself. But the neighbors say, oh, it's like you have a son again. And so they get so excited, and they actually call him a name, which ends up sticking, Obed. And he ends up being the father of Jesse, the father of David, who we'll study at another time. But it's fantastic to see God's intricate working in the midst of all of this, because the exact chain of events that has led to this moment is strange at best, is absolutely different than anything we've heard before, because this is leading to David, who's leading to Jesus down the line. God is carefully protecting and planning the lineage of David to protect and plan the lineage of the Christ. And so it's fantastic to think about. But a few things that I think we can take out of it. Unfortunately, this second kinsman, we don't know his name for sure. I'm sure there is some sort of a tradition of who it was and what his name was. But because he chose not to take on the risk, he didn't get the reward. His name isn't even mentioned. He is all but forgotten in the fact that he's only known for having given this up and given his shoe over to Boaz. So don't give up whenever God has something called for you and planned for you and something great, some great challenge for you to take it on. But Boaz was absolutely phenomenal. He was absolutely willing to work it out all the way through, to fight through to the end and get this taken care of the very next day. Even though he had a lot of things to do, he was just at the threshing floor. Even though he had a lot of busyness he could have attended to, he ended up tending to this business, which was much more important, though not necessarily as lucrative money-wise as what his other business was. And so be like Boaz, be that dedicated, dependable person, especially to your spouse, but really to all of the people that you come in contact with. Be that dependable person like Boaz. Be that person who says, regardless of what other circumstances try to come my way and try to hinder me, I'm going to stand for the Lord and I'm going to do what's right no matter what. And just that's coming to the end of Ruth, the book of Ruth here. It's a fantastic book. It's been fun studying into her life a little bit. I know we didn't get super deep into it, only five videos here, but that's still, Ruth is a fantastic character. Boaz is a fantastic character. Naomi has a lot to learn. I'd recommend you look into it more deeply and take some time to study into the book of Ruth even more deeply than what we have here. If you like the video, and I see there's 2 of you watching, if you like the video, leave a like and leave a comment in the comment section down below. I'm going to be posting this live. Hopefully it'll stay live after. I'm not sure how that all works, but it will be available. So like, comment, subscribe, share, and have a great day in the Lord. Have a wonderful Saturday. I hope you have a good day today and that God blesses you today and that you have a good day in the Lord tomorrow, the Lord's Day. Remember to get into church if you're able to and to spend some time worshiping the Lord and having fellowship with His people. God bless. Have a great day in the Lord.